you bear witness to the arrival of a brown beat-up pickup truck that is screaming directly at you. And you see Dutch behind the wheel as he screams, "Get out of the way, Shannon!" As you push off and kind of hike up off of her, she gently rises to be met face first with the bumper of the truck as it hits her and bends her backwards. You hear something that sounds like the cracking of a 2x4 as she is pushed under the truck. Get in, get in! And in that moment, we go to the bed of the truck. Jerry, just as you wipe the rest of the blood from your eyes, you see stumbling through the crowd, covered in blood, dragging you see knee. Jerry, help me! Jerry, help me, Jerry!
I think he gives a quick look back to the cab of the truck and jumps back out.
Jerry, you see that knee falls. He's looking up at you and you can see that he is super hurt. You can now see when he falls that there is a huge bloody patch on the back of his head where he has sustained some type of head wound. Brother! There is a gauntlet to run through of violence and destruction. You are covered in the blood of the victims of this unholy party. And so throwing in some of those football skills that you learned on the gridiron, you body check those that you deem to be enemies. You slip past those that you can see are simply victims trying to escape like you. And you get to knee. Thank you, man. Thank you. What the hell's going on?
Just hold on.
The slide, it's square, the frame has a swirl of purple in it. And for a moment, you see Teletran 2. It's snowing.
Wait, do you think so? Okay, so nothing. So it only comes in, right? Things.
I can only bring it in. If you can get there,
do you think
it's open?
Do you think we could get a signal out?
I don't know. I can't send anything through. I can only bring it from there to here. But if you said you can go, then you can go through the door I made. I just can't. I can't make anything go from here to there.
Okay, it's worth a shot.
Okay.
I can't take you. If we go and this works, we made a door to our garret, and the bad guys want our garret. I can't leave the door open.
Guys, Dutch says as the truck begins to goes back and forth across the road.
Shannon climbs into the cab. She slots open the window and climbs in.
The rebar has pierced the side of the door and has pierced the side of the Dutch. You can see his left side. There is a smear of white against his Johnny Cash t-shirt. Shannon, I think they got me. You hear whispers from the sky. You can't hear exactly what's being said, but you do hear two very distinct words. It's them. And then
hey,
voices are
Gary,
gone.
Can you just make sure you keep an eye on the sky?
I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, I know you gotta just. It's fine. Everything's fine. Dutch.
There's so much blood.
Okay, that's not helpful, Jerry.
Pretty sure some of it's mine.
As you look to the skies, you see those inky black shapes as you see three shapes, one of them Veronica Kirkshaw, flying towards Garrett. They're leaving the truck behind.
Yeah, she just kind of looks briefly to Dutch to see if he's conscious.
His chin's resting on his chest and his eyes are on you as he's kind of turned.
Oh, Dutch, life is something else.
Yeah.
I'm not really good at talking, I'm sure you know, about really anything, feelings especially, but
Me neither.
I'm really sorry.
Before.
Oh man, I just keep letting people down.
Never let me down.
You wouldn't have said that yesterday in a different lifetime.
I wouldn't say it in any lifetime.
Maybe.
I love you, Shannon.
I know. I love you too.
I'll never change. And he's gone. He looks at you, Rob, and kind of moves away from Mitch's earshot. Can you promise me something, son?
Yeah. What's going on?
If I'm bad where you come from, you got to remember something. If I'm like I am here, my eyes hurt when there's bright light. I get really disoriented when there's loud noises, and I've got a bad heart. You can use that.
Well, I mean, we don't want to kill you.
Don't let me do anything bad. I couldn't live with myself if I thought I hurt one of you boys. Even if it wasn't me.
We'll take care of it. Loud noises, bright lights, and bad heart.
My heart. It is Shannon and Mitch that witness the descent of three forms and a fourth. The fourth is a silver figure, humanoid in shape, that is roughly 10 feet tall. The 3 figures lightly touch down in the parking lot. The 4th figure slams into the parking lot. It is a huge metallic figure, and when it stands up to its full height, across its chest, it says, "My robot will rule the world." It has one eye, and it's glowing a deep purple.
Mitch, I think we need to go right now. Shannon grabs him. Mitch, right now we have to leave. You made an evil robot? Is that what you're telling me right now? We can talk on the way down.
You pull Mitch out of the way just as this white hot purple beam lances through the paperback exchange, from front door, through the comics, through the paperbacks, and out the back side of the cinder block wall. It begins to move its head as it cuts a hole right beside the door as you all are running back towards the entry into the science wing. You see him time it as he pulls down on the Gothic lever and reaches forward and grabs hold of Shannon. Ben's not holding on to you guys. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out what looks like a little egg, smiles, and throws it at you. Shannon, Jerry, George, Mitch, Rob, you feel this stretch of what feels like webbing thrown over all of you as you're all pulled together around Mitch. Mitch, you begin to dive. Ben smiles and says, "You stupid sons of bitches. Don't you know you're never supposed to tie yourselves together when you dive?"
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for another episode of Atari Twilight Rollout. We are coming to a close with this entire series. We have but a few more episodes left, so stay tuned and cross your fingers and hope that we don't explode into, decompression or fire or the universe collapses on us. Anyway, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon. Link for that down below. You can get all kinds of behind-the-scenes exclusives. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the bar marked Michigan. That bar is the corruption bar for this show, and every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful faces that you see around you. And also, as soon as that bar fills, Greg does terrible things to us. With that, I turn things over to Greg himself to take us back into the world of Lords of the Ring.
It was Twilight. Yes. So anyway, everybody, to go forward, we have to go back. And here we are at episode 8 of Atari Twilight Rollout, The Iron Curtain. Atari Twilight is a story about the 80s using Free League's Tales from the Loop system. It is a story about a group of kids tasked with saving the world entire. Standing against them, a collection of villains from the far corners of movies, TV, comic books, and novels. The battleground, their hometown of Garrett, Maryland. A sleepy mountain town utterly unremarkable save for one ominous addition, the Loop, a particle accelerator whose reckless science has breached the veil between Garrett and its limitless parallel dimensions. The Loop's lust for knowledge threatens not just their Garrett, but every world in the great multidimensional garden. Our heroes find themselves diving between these mirror images, these mirror universes. In some, foes are friends. In others, friends are foes. But in every iteration of Garrett, secrets await. If they can find the right secrets and make it back to their Garrett, they may just be able to defeat the Loop and save everyone, everywhere. But to return home, they have to find a way to pierce the veil surrounding their hometown. The veil itself is an energy field of unknown origin that repels them each time they try to breach it. And with each failure, they are cast into another version of their hometown with new secrets and new dangers. It is Sunday, December 31st, 1989. Time is running out. The greatest decade, the 1980s, draws to a close, and if allowed to end, so too ends all the worlds. Can our heroes find a way home? And if so, can they stop the Loop and save existence? My friends, that is what we are here to find out. Our kids stand at the heart of it all. Rob Ott, the quiet hero that faces not only their enemies, but his own self-doubt. Can he face his greatest fear? Can he find a way to become the Prime? Shannon Locke. Torn between the light and the dark, Shannon has been battered by the visions of herself and the revelations of those closest to her. But has she been granted any true answers? George Butts, machine or man? A question that shouldn't have an answer. But what if it did? What would George choose? What would he become? Jerry Baker, a hero reborn from the ashes of a bully. What will he do with the knowledge that their friend Ben McKenzie isn't with them? What will he do with the knowledge that an older version of Mitch is their greatest enemy? Casey Mitch Mitchell, the only one among them capable of jumping between worlds, but not the only being capable of such power. Unknown to Mitch, an older version of himself is the being known as he who walks between the rows. How do you win a war when you are the enemy? In this, the last year of the greatest decade, here in 1989, all will be decided for good or ill, the end of the age, and this tale is upon us. 4 years, over 150 songs, ultimately 40 episodes in the making comes down to this. Now we return not to their Garrett, but to a Garrett in the Highlands of Maryland. Welcome one and all to the end of an age. Welcome, my friends, to Atari Twilight Rollout, Episode 8, The Iron Curtain. Your lucky and pride are refreshed. But before we go forward, someone roll lead for me. This person cannot be George.
I got this. All right. Zeros.
If you have lucky, you may use it on this roll. You have pride, you may use it on this roll. Of course, they were just refreshed, so I don't know if you want to do so. You can push it, but that push will give you a condition.
I'm going to push it. I'm okay with taking a condition given the circumstances of how we left off last episode. 2 successes.
So please take the condition upset as you push yourself beyond your normal capacity for success and turn failure into achievement. With those 2 dice, with 2 successes, you are able to have a pool of 4 dice. These 4 dice may be given to any of your friends at any time for any roll. You may not take them for yourself though, Rob, as at this particular moment, you all are between here and there. Everybody, if you would, please go to your Spotify playlist because, of course, this is the 80s and we always have a soundtrack. So if you would, please cue up track number 1, the live acoustic version of Love is a Battlefield. Mitch, I need you to roll a tinker right now. Everybody, regardless of Mitch's roll, you are all going to get a condition.
Jesus. Can I use my item for this roll?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. 4 successes, Greg. Coming in hot.
You may bank one of those successes. Anything less than a 3 would have given you all another condition. As you all look at one another, with Dr. Arkeville, his 80-year-old frame also tethered and tied to you, you all look like some type of hellish ball of yarn as this egg that was thrown on you by your friend, Ben McKenzie, had split and slithered, encompassing your entire form and drawing you all together. A net made of wire and vine, tendril, and in some pieces flesh, as it grabs and grips and cuts into you. Each of you, where this bone and wire crisscrosses forming the net, any exposed flesh that it gets from sleeveless vests or hands and wrists is immediately cut as if a razor was drawn across it. Many of you who are already wounded from the last encounter, namely Jerry Baker, who already had a stain across his shirt of a torn open chest, similar stains make their way across your entire form. George, you don't experience this, but you can see your flesh being flayed. You see deep gashes cut into your arm. But just like if somebody took a razor blade to the forearm of a Ken or a Barbie, it just splits. Nothing comes out. I need everybody to roll me a move roll. You're looking for a combined total of 6 here.
Looks like we've only got 4 across everybody.
Yikes.
Who would like to push? Who can push? Any prides, or if not, I'll take it
Mitch.
from here.
Mitch can push. Mitch can push. Not well, apparently.
George will
Okay.
push as well, if that's allowed.
Yep, conditions for each of these pushes, by the way.
I have 1.
You're able to get 1, which puts you 1 away from the total. Anybody else?
Does it add? It adds on to our.
It adds on. Yeah.
Okay. I will also push another one.
So with the combined efforts of Mitch, Shannon, and George, you all feel yourselves being drawn apart, except that this net that's around you doesn't give an inch. It's almost as if something wishes to pull you, grate you through like Play-Doh in some type of hellish fun factory. You begin to feel yourselves pulled apart. Mitch, your hold on this transfer is tenuous at best, but you're able to keep focus and keep everybody together. Even though Dr. Arkaville is screaming, he is screaming words of encouragement. He knows what you're going through. He's telling you to focus. But through this exchange, you aren't in the field of stars that you were in before. That place between here and there, where you go from one garret to the next. Instead, you're in that swirl of purple. And it's very tubular. It's very like a tunnel or the inside of a wave that someone's catching off of Malibu. And as you kind of make your way through this, ahead of you, Mitch, you are leading them. You see Teletran 2. And the last person that went through, who I believe was Shannon, as she grabbed hold of Arkaville. Shannon, when you continue that hold and move your head back towards Arkaville, over his shoulder, you see a 9-10 foot robot moving through the tunnel after you. I need one last roll from Mitch. Is anyone at 4 conditions right now? If Mitch fails, you all get a condition.
What are the conditions that we got at the start? And who all got them?
Everybody got 1
We
condition.
all did.
And then anybody that added to it. Now I know Jerry came in with 2.
Yeah, so I think he's at 4, unless he didn't push a roll. Did you?
He didn't.
Jerry?
He didn't push a roll, so
So
Jerry
he
should be at 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I have 2 from the push and then the one we all got.
Okay. So
also have
this
2.
will result in a condition if you fail this roll.
Don't fail.
Give me another tinker.
I'm going to give you a luck, Greg.
Sure.
Do you want to maybe, I don't know, give him some of the dice that we had from Lee?
I was going to, but he made his mind up real quick and went ahead and rolled. So
I mean, I can still add them to this.
yeah, if you want to have 2, then I'll
Have
take
2. 1 success, Greg.
Everybody gets a condition. Jerry Baker passes out. As his large form slumps, razor cuts that huge question mark fish hook across his chest. The newly minted, newly born hero slumps in the middle of this cocoon that is razor wire. And then you are in the field outside of Teletran 2. You all crash to the ground. And as soon as you hit the air of this mountain, Maryland, the flesh and vines and bone and wire begin to release, almost like a puzzle that all it required was the lack of tension. It begins to slink away, and then it begins to melt. And in some places where the wire is exposed, it begins to rust. And you all lay there. Dr. Arkaville is looking back, but there isn't a tunnel anymore. There's no giant robot. There's no glimpse into the place where you were, or the place that you had traveled through to get here. But as you look around, you see that this entire place has a gray haze to it. There are vines everywhere that seem to have crept up in the middle of the mag truck graveyard, pushing some of the other tethered vehicles out of the way with these great Jack and the Beanstalk like trunks that have come up. Everything seems to be overgrown. Everything seems to be dusty. And everything seems very, very familiar. This is the place where you jumped after 1969. The Teletran 2 is in front of you. It's green. It's unaffected by the vines. Welcome back to Garrett. What do you do?
George will check on Jerry. Check for pulse. If there's anything he can, if he has to compress wounds or what have you, he's really going to Jerry.
Roll me to investigate as you get over to him.
No success.
You get over, you can see he's breathing. That much you can, but as far as first aid or identifying, you can see numerous injuries on Jerry's form, but you can't see and identify what might be the cause of what knocked him out, a head wound or some type of, suffocation or something like that. He is breathing. It seems to be unlabored, if that's any comfort. But the one thing I do give you, and this one is free, when you crawl among your friends to kind of get to Jerry through the remnants of the wire and the remnants of this bone and flesh construction, you see the little indicator in the bottom right-hand corner go from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And when you get over to Jerry, it sort of holds at 5. You're not sure why.
Okay. I'll pick Jerry up and just cradle him. Not cradle him, but you know what I mean? Like just hands out front. I'm not going to fireman carry him.
Gotcha. You have him.
As soon as we became untangled, Mitch runs towards Teletran 2. Like blood dripping down his arms, his skinned knees, and he is booking it as fast as he can towards the complete lack of rope ladder and trying to scramble up to wrench open one of the gates.
There's a rope ladder.
Okay. He's scrambling up the rope ladder to try to get inside.
It just looks old. Looks like it's been left out in the elements for several seasons. Yeah, you're able to climb up in. What's everybody else do is you see Mitch take off through the dust and the vines, leaving a trail of blood, a trail of himself from where you are to where he is.
Shannon stands up and just complete pan around, just looking, trying to see what's in the environment, if there's even anything visible outside of all these vines.
And the vines aren't all encompassing. They're punching up here and there, but I mean, they're prevalent. They're everywhere. And the sky itself looks like it's caught in an overcast Seattle version of Twilight or Dawn. The entire sky is one uniform color, one uniform brightness. You can't tell where or if there is a sun behind this overcast cloud cover. Dr. Arkaville, though, has stood up. He too has cuts all over him, and he is looking around. And just like you, doing that kind of slow turn, that slow Michael Bay 360, he seems to be drinking it in just like you. And you hear him like inhale sharply. Rob, what are you doing?
Rob's going to be very confused. So he's going to look over, see George carrying Jerry. He's going to see Mitch run into Teletran. And George, you said you were carrying him like in your arms, like out front. So, okay, so like if it looks like George has got Jerry, he's not going to go try to help carry him or anything. So he's gonna follow Mitch probably less hastily towards Teletran 2.
Okay. Then if everybody is either outside and holding position, like we'll just say Shannon and Arkaville are kind of where you arrived. George, are you taking Jerry towards Teletran 2?
Yeah, I would take him towards the hideout for sure.
Okay, so if we're placing everybody in our mind's eye, we have Shannon and Arkaville at the site of arrival. Moving between that area and Teletran 2, a span of no more than 25 yards, is George carrying Jerry, and sprinting just ahead of them, or moving rapidly just ahead of them, is Rob. As Mitch, you take to the top and enter into Teletran 2. It looks as if it has been updated since you were here last. New rooms have been carved out.
Oh.
You see new doorways that lead off of the original one that you expanded from the makeshift garage that you have made. The last true addition that you put onto Teletran 2. Now, it seems that each of the grav trucks below, above, to the right, left, and then off at a diagonal, each have an access point from your central and original Teletran 2. It is a honeycomb.
I don't think he acknowledges it much. He knows where he was going, so all of that just sort of blurs as he like flings himself into the main central box and just sort of like grabs what he imagines to be like the rusty door frame and hauls himself into the adjacent cart, kicks down the trap door, and immediately drops into the garage and throws open the door and throws out like the ramp that we used for Shannon's bikes. And he just like kind of looks around at everybody, some people moving, some people standing in, and says, "Get the fuck in here! Get in here now!"
Shannon, roll me an investigate.
Nope. Nothing here.
Yeah, you see the landscape. You know, you're hurt in more ways than one, more ways than the cuts on your body. The events of the last few moments in the prior Garrett, compounded with what has just occurred here. Nothing is picked up. Arkaville seems to be in the same shape as he looks around, but doesn't truly drink it in, and begins to, he even offers you his arm, as he believes a gentleman should.
Shannon nods and kind of like motions to go with her to where Mitch is shouting, basically. I think she'll just check to see if Butts is having any struggles with Jerry at this point.
You're holding at 5%, George.
Yeah, I mean, at least the world's in color. I would imagine I'm doing just fine with him then.
I'll take investigate rolls too from George and Rob, who are moving at at least a slower pace than what Mitch did.
2. I got a 2.
Yeah, I have too many conditions.
Rob, just as you're about ready to enter into Teletran 2, underneath, where it's still lifted up by the magnets that keep it aloft, keep it floating in the air, near the same place where Jerry's powers awoke whenever you all, way back in season 1, you see a still form lying on the ground. But just you.
I'm gonna walk over to everybody. I mean, George is busy with Jerry. Mitch is up in the Teletran screaming. You know, there's so much going on. He's almost got like a shell shock about him, where he's just gonna start kind of making his way towards that without really saying much. You know, you're just gonna start seeing him kind of veer off towards that to go see who it is, what it is. It's real.
It's real. And when you get over there, you see this form face down in the dust. At this age, you're either the size of a kid or the size of a grown-up. This is the size of a grown-up, but the body itself is skeletal, decomposed. You see more bone than you see what might have been flesh. And it seems to be wearing long underwear. looks to be some type of uniform beneath a uniform. What do you do?
Can I take a closer? Is it like, is there any writing on it? Is there,
You can roll it over. It's
yeah,
face down.
Kind of flip it by.
When you roll it over, just above the heart, it says P. Mitchell.
He's gonna like take a step back and just kind of okay, and go back towards Teletran.
You all make it inside. Do you secure Teletran once everyone's in, Mitch?
I don't think he does. He threw the gate open and sort of yelled at everyone to get the fuck in here. And then he dove back in, climbed up the trapdoor back into the main thing. And I don't think he's super acknowledging the fact that like it's been updated. It's like muscle memory at this point. There's like a dry erase marker that he grabbed. The cap gets spit. He's scratching things on the wall. He's grabbing back for tools. He's like moving things around. And he's sort of like almost autonomously going through the motions of a year or two ago, rambling and mumbling to himself.
You would see that your whiteboard is completely filled. You would realize that the tools are in similar, but there are more tools, and they seem to be arranged in different. There are better tools, power tools, more lab equipment. It seems to be massively upgraded from your de facto workshop.
Yeah, I think he's like grabbing those tools and using them, or like changing things on the board without realizing that it's there. It's like almost second nature, as he's like cleared a small spot and started writing new things on it. And anyone that joins that central truck hub is just seeing Mitch in a frenzy.
Okay, so we'll say that Rob took a break for a second. So George and Shannon and Arkaville would all be getting here at roughly the same time. Jerry, you're starting to stir as you're still very injured, but your consciousness is beginning to arrive. You realize you are being carried like threshold style by George. As you all get into Teletran 2, I'm going to give you this one for free. Shannon, George, and Jerry as he comes to. As you're looking at the whiteboard, you can read a few things. There's a lot of formula and equations that are across it, but there are also a lot of like bullet point notes. And one of them that you immediately see is kind of to the top left-hand side, kind of opposite of where Mitch is making a space. And it says they should arrive from 1969 at this spot.
I guess Shannon notices Mitch is doing his thing. I mean, she's been here before. She probably starts noticing that the space is different from the last time we were here, right? And we all, if we're actually taking a moment, notice the same thing. I think she'd just be like, "Hey, Mitch."
Yeah. What?
Mitch.
What?
This isn't our place. Not like how we left it.
No, of course not. It's never the same place.
No. It's like really different.
Yeah, every Garrett's been different. This is just the closest one.
Okay, then why did whoever was here before us know that I assume, we're going to show up here? And she like points to the top corner of the board.
Why did Evil Shannon know exactly where to find me to stab me? I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe we should like not write on the board that might have answers that we've been looking for multiple dimensions. Maybe for like 5 seconds. I don't know, write on the floor instead.
Mitch looks like what you just said makes no sense to him at all. And he just looks back and says, yeah, whatever. And just sort of like tosses the marker up in the air in your direction and leaves the board. And begins rummaging at the tool bench that was opposite the board, with like what in his mind is an array of robot parts.
You would all see that whenever Mitch is rummaging through what would be the kind of the robot workstation, you see a fully realized schematic that is drawn with blueprint detail, the creature that chased you into the tunnel.
Boy.
I think it's around this time Jerry's like convincing George to let him down, you know, like real awkward exchange of looks, I imagine, like thanks, but I'm good.
It's okay, Jerry Bear. You can show your feelings.
You gotta stop calling me that.
You don't get to pick your names.
Still kick your ass.
Well, we'll see tomorrow. I just drop you.
It's not a far fall.
Shannon, as she's looking at the board and kind of eyeing what she just saw with the robot schematic, she like takes her backpack off her shoulder and like hands it over. Jerry, there's some first aid. She's like completely focused on what's in front of her, but like there's some first aid stuff in the backpack and some snacks if anybody's hungry. What was Mitch writing in his little area? Is it anything that makes any sense, or is it just gibberish basically?
It's mostly gibberish. Like you would identify it as things we might have seen in the last few places, but they're in no order. And it's like it's as if like he had too many thoughts at once and was just trying to get any thought out of his head. He might not even be able to reread what the hell he just wrote. But they're all just things or facts or ideas he saw in other Garretts.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that stands out immediately on the board that was from the previous author?
Sure. I'll give you this one for free because you have at least kind of like 10 minutes to look at this. And so it's not something that needs to be done relatively quickly. But as you look at everything, you see the plans for the robot in the one area that kind of bleed over into the whiteboard. You see that the whiteboard is calculating a lot of the equations have to do with time. And you see that there is a space where if anything is to be believed from what's around it, there was likely a map of Garrett that was fastened here at some point, but has since been taken. The only reason why you know that is there are lines that are kind of arrows drawn, and it mentions things that you know about, like there's an arrow that says Moon Tower, and you would know that that would be off any map of Garrett, an arrow that says the lake. And so if you placed in there from east to west, you would be able to kind of imagine a square of Garrett. Also, when you look through, you realize that it's mentioning those little green creatures that you saw here the last time, and it calls them by name, says that they're gremlins, and it says there's a good way to rile them up, and maybe I can have them attack at this certain time, at this certain moment that is the same as the one that says this is when they'll arrive in 1969. Also, Jerry, you and you alone, when you look at the board, and eventually Shannon will get it and Rob will get it, but as you look and kind of from the ground go from the bottom of the whiteboard up, you realize that the little corner where Mitch wrote and the rest of the whiteboard are in the same handwriting.
It's funny because I was actually deducing that another version of Mitch was here. I was about to say that too, but eventually the handwriting match, right?
And a second later, Shannon, as you're kind of look down at what Mitch wrote, you realize that the T is crossed the same way.
She looks over to Mitch and then looks to Jerry to see if he sees what she sees.
Where's Ben?
Well, Ben put whatever that was on us, and we're not in better shape for it, that's for sure.
That
What was that all
was
about?
Ben. I don't know who that was. So where's Ben?
He's got to be back at that boys' school.
We dealt with the wrong Ben.
Unless they brainwashed it and it was our Ben. They brainwashed him to sabotage us.
I mean, they've replaced other people with, other things too.
Well,
So
that's true.
Ben would die before he betrayed any of you.
I'm not saying that he would betray us, not willingly, that's for sure. Okay, so one thing at a time. If Ben is back where we left him at the boys' school, which seems most likely, because I don't know who was with him before we had to make a run for it from vampires and killer robot. Like the whole time, were you Mitch and Rob, were you with Ben the whole time when we got to the new place?
He was pretty weird, I guess. Yeah.
Like not himself weird, or just rattled because he was tortured for hours or days?
Just different. I don't know. He felt off.
So maybe if it wasn't him, then yeah, it would be safe to assume that our Ben is still at the boys' school.
Well, I just assumed, like you said, he was tortured, so maybe he was
Right.
just acting weird. But yeah, we had a look, right?
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
When Rob turns to Mitch, he doesn't respond, walks to the door of the central room, kicks it open, and drops the 10 feet down to the ground. Like he jumps off the edge.
what the?
Go get him.
I'll get him. You see that Dr. Arkaville starts to move towards the ramp. He is also covered in sweat. You can see the dust sticking to him. I can get him.
Are you okay? Are you sure you should go anywhere? Maybe you should eat something.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm a little it's just I'm not as young as you all.
I'll go get him. Why don't you
it's fine.
just...
I need to look outside anyway and get our bearings.
Rob, you should go with him. I'll look after Jerry and Butts.
Okay, come on. Let's go. Let's go find Mitch.
Okay. He kind of offers you his arm.
I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, you can see that his arm is shaking. It's not a shaking like he's cold, it's a shaking like his muscles are spasming. Let's get down there and take a look around and see what's going on.
Yeah, that'll be good for you. And yeah, let's make our way over towards where Mitch jumped, escaped.
It'll take you all a little bit longer to get outside. While we pan to the outside, Shannon, Jerry, is there anything you want to do inside while you're relatively alone with George?
I mean, Shannon's going to offer to help Jerry with his enormous chest wound, basically. Make sure that he's not continuously bleeding. She knows it that much, at least, for first aid. And if he allows her, she'll help.
Yeah, and while she starts, he's going to be silent for a little while before he says, "It's him. It's Mitch. It's Mitch. I saw him. There's another one."
You saw another Mitch?
He was going to kill Chris.
What? When?
I don't know anymore. It was so many jumps ago. We saved Chris. Mitch
That
made
must
him
have been
dive, but
before the moon tower then.
yes, it's before
Was it
so much of this.
Was it before Ben got taken?
Yes.
How come you didn't say anything? That was ages ago, basically.
There were bigger things to worry about, and I knew everyone would get hung up on it, but there's another Mitch.
Well, that explains the robot then.
It explains a lot, and he points to the board.
Except for why would he be trying to kill everybody? Or maybe his robot got out of hand and I don't know, actually. Why would he try to kill Chris? Something doesn't make sense.
What if he knows?
What if
This they're
Mitch
not
knows?
that different?
Oh. No. That no, not after everything. That doesn't no.
Just keep an eye on him.
The other problem is that when I was, Kit, remember? He said the only Mitches he ever knew were bad. Same with me, though.
Whoa.
I know. Not a surprise for me. I get it.
We've just been taking everything he says like at face value. He's how we got here. And what if he's not taking us home on purpose?
Why would he take us all the way out here in the first place then?
I don't know.
What does he have to gain?
I don't know. It's all too much for me.
All right, let's not mention this to anybody else right now. We just gotta, you need rest. This doesn't look good. You need to, like, we all need sleep and we all need some food and just to take a beat, because we're not in any state to do anything right now at this point.
Fine.
And then we can find a way to bring it up. Or maybe he'll say something.
Okay.
Also, for the sake of positioning, let's say that this conversation is being had outside of George's earshot. This is in another area of it, because George would have had a chance to contribute to that. And I don't want to take that away from Rhino. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it's at this point, it's just the two of you.
Yeah, we were just like kind of whispering, like under the breath, as she's like close enough to like
administrating. Right.
Yeah.
We could, I don't say retcon it, but we could say I'm kind of doing like that perimeter check. I'm noticing the changes and I'm immediately thinking this place isn't safe. So I kind of want to get an assessment of what is happening.
You're doing this inside. You're walking around through like all the new rooms. Then as this kind of unspoken promise between Jerry and Shannon, we cut through the honeycomb of the different mag trucks that have been expanded. And George, when you get to what would be like the upper left-hand mag truck, you see a frame of a slide, just like the one that you went through in the basement of Dr. Arkaville's.
Is this like a totally new room? Like this isn't one that was original?
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know what the mag trucks are, imagine, if you will, 9 loaves of bread stacked 3 by 3 by 3 on top of one another. In the very center is the hideout of the group. All of these are long, what would be like tractor and trailer trucks in this world that is an anti-gravity lift truck. But they're all tethered together because they're old and they're starting to not work. And so they go to a junkyard and float there until they hit the ground, and then they're crushed up and turned into new grav trucks. Whenever the kids were there at first, they only had access to that center one, that center loaf of bread. And eventually they kind of burrowed their way into one of the other ones. Now, all 9 of them are open, each of them having a different function, from biology lab to one of them looks like it's a place where food is being grown. One of them is water collection. but the upper left-hand one has a wire frame that looks almost exactly like that portal, that slide that you went into in the bottom of Arkaville's.
Yikes. I think that's all George says, yikes, and turns around and continues his patrol, making a mental note of it. And perhaps he's got a notepad that he's writing this kind of stuff in and share with the team later.
Then George, what I'd also tell you this place is incredibly well equipped. You see that it has food stores. Most of them are like meals ready to eat, but they're stacked up enough for the lot of you to be able to eat for a month, basically, or for one person to eat for much longer. You see that there are large barrels of water that seem to be collected off one of the top grav trucks, kind of through the top and funneled around what will be the roof of all of them. Plenty of water inside this grav truck. It's more of a bunker than anything else, you begin to realize. As we see the yikes, as you kind of sit there from the other side of the frame, we're looking through it at George, and we travel outside. As Rob takes Arkaville down, Mitch, you hit the bottom first. You're down there first as Arkaville and Rob kind of go down the ramp, which would be maybe a minute later. What do you do, Mitch, when you hit the dust beneath Teletran 2?
He hits the dust and cuts around to the original green side, the best bush. And by the time Rob and Arkaville get around to him, he has like one hand on the lower side of the bag truck and a fresh pool of vomit at his feet. And he can hear like the crunch of stones, and he just stays with that like kind of hand up and like head still hung over.
Arkaville kind of nudges you, Rob. Go help him.
Okay, you're gonna be okay.
He raises a very thin thumb.
Okay, Rob's gonna thumb him back, or give him a thumbs up back, and he's gonna kind of get closer to Mitch and be like, "Hey, man, everything cool?"
You hear like a sob, like a, and he like moves his hand off the truck and just puts it back towards you, as in like a get away from me kind of thing, and doesn't say anything.
I mean, I know we've been through a lot, man. But like, if there's anything wrong, you can talk to me.
The other hand reaches around that arm and just sort of throws something at your feet, and it is Mitch's wrench, but it looks older. It's me. And then that hand drops, and he reaches into his pocket and throws out his wrench. It's me.
Rob's just gonna be quiet for a couple beats and then just go, fuck. I mean, I get that. It kind of makes sense, but that's, man. Well, in that case, that probably makes what I'm going to tell you next a little better. And Rob's gonna kind of, I mean, how close is the body?
It's maybe 20 feet away.
Rob's gonna kind of try to point it out to him, be like, I found okay, so it's since there's two Tues, there's probably two of your dads, right? So that's your dad. He's gonna kind of gesture towards the body.
He just sinks to his knees barely missing the pool at his feet. And his face just follows where your hand is pointing, and he quietly crawls under the trucks towards it.
Unless stopped, you get there in a few seconds.
What do I see, Greg?
I'm giving you this one because you would have seen it before. You see the skeletal remains rolled over on its back, the P. Mitchell across the chest, but it's not long underwear. It is the undersuit that you would wear beneath a dive suit. That's it.
Mitch is like ransacking this corpse. He is reaching in every pocket, every compartment, through the sleeves, like almost in denial. And Rob can just hear like sobs.
You find one thing. Crumpled in the right hand is a yellow Polaroid of your dad, your mom, and you as a toddler.
Yeah, he kind of pulls away and sits cross-legged. And if anyone is looking under it, there is like a slight rock back and forth as he is just sitting there staring in the vague direction of the body.
You feel a hand on your shoulder, Mitch. Son?
Yeah.
Did you know them?
It's my dad.
Oh, your friend's right. It might be another version of you. You're that dad. Don't give up hope.
I'm sorry, Mitch. I it didn't feel right not to show you.
It's okay, man. This is my dad. It's not another one.
How do you know?
You just know.
Sorry.
Mr. Locke said it. This is the same place. When I thought I brought my dad back, he said you didn't bring your dad back. You brought he who walks between the rows. We thought it was my dad, because he was wearing a jumpsuit. And he sort of like grabs one hand and like weakly pushes like a leg out. This jumpsuit. He was wearing the top half of this jumpsuit. I think I killed my dad.
Arkaville looks at Rob. Go get your friends.
And Rob's gonna turn off, or he's gonna kind of like take a couple steps backwards before he kind of finally turns around and starts kind of power walking back towards the entrance. Guys, we've had some developments, and Mitch is not doing okay.
Don't just say that. What's going on?
He made a realization that he is the one that walks between the rows.
And eyes at Jerry like, oh shit.
He found another wrench And in my infinite wisdom, while he was going through that, I showed him the body of his dad that I found. And he's not doing okay.
Where is he?
He's gonna like just point down there. He's with Mr. Harkville. He's saying he killed his dad.
Like that he murdered him, or like a guilty, I'm the reason my dad's dead thing that I put myself through all the time.
I'm not always real good with tone, but I feel like it was literal.
Great.
Jerry,
Yeah.
Great.
Jerry, you good enough to get down there?
Yeah. Don't wait on me.
You all make it down there, and however fast or cautionary you want to climb down.
Would we say that in the snack bag there was like sodas or anything like, that would be comforting?
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. She
Strangely
spent all
enough,
$40.
Right. You would, George, you alone would know this. As Meta just said, Shannon has loaded up in there with stuff. Strangely enough, you saw a lot of all of Mitch's favorite foods when you were going through the stores.
That's what I was kind of getting at. So yeah, I'll if the others get out there before me, that's fine. I'll go back to the food store and pick up a couple of the favorites. And while I'm at it, I might grab a couple MREs for everybody else, because I don't know the last time we ate, so we're probably all a little bit hungry. So, and then pack it up and go outside.
George, as you get closer to the group, as I'm assuming everybody, you would be like the last one to get to around Mitch.
Yeah.
When you walk up to the group, the 5 turns to a 6. You're all with Mitch. Dr. Arkaville is kind of sitting, like lying on his side beside Mitch with his hand on his shoulder, but he hasn't said anything since Rob left.
What's Mitch doing?
The same thing. He is sat crisscross with his hands in his lap, and he is slightly rocking back and forth in front of a skeletal corpse.
I think as George approaches, he reaches into the backpack, grabs the Coca-Cola or RC Cola, whatever is Mitch's favorite, and just crouches beside him and hands it to him. It's like, here, you need this.
What would Mitch's soft drink of choice be?
I guess regular Coke, since new Coke is out of style at this point. And he just, yeah, classic Coke. He takes it, and you see like he switches hands with a old Polaroid and just takes the Coke and just puts it between his legs, and just kind of continues rocking. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hey, this fucking sucks, dude.
That's my dad, buds.
Yeah. Rob told us. But I want you to look around. Look who's here with you right now.
He tell you that I'm the bad guy?
You're not the bad guy, dude.
Pretty sure I am.
Well, then the bad guy you is future you, and you have plenty of time to fix that.
I brought me back. With all the... When we jumped my dad back, it wasn't my dad.
I mean, we didn't know. Now we do. I mean, it sucks to hear right now. It's doesn't seem like it's within grasp, but man, we're gonna get this. Right, guys? And he like nods back to the crew.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he
So
was
maybe,
stuck here.
What?
I think he was stuck here. Bad me, future me. I think he was stuck. And I think whatever bad stuff he did before, and then I jumped him back, and now he's doing more bad stuff. I think someone trapped him here. And then I opened the trap.
I mean, it's a shitty thing about traps, right? You didn't know. It's a good trap. You probably created it, didn't you? Right? So it's got to be pretty good.
Remember when we thought you were an evil robot?
Well, that might still be up for grabs. We'll see.
What if I become Bad Mitch?
Do you want to be Bad Bitch?
No.
Then there's your answer, man. You have a choice, right? Just like I had a choice. We all have choices.
Yeah. He just kind of gets quiet again.
I promise that if you become a bad Mitch, I will kill you.
There you go. Mitch, you got that going for you.
Thanks, I guess.
Hey, man, I'll help bury you.
I'll watch. I don't think I could participate.
Hey, speaking of which, Mitch, do you want to maybe lay him to rest proper?
Yeah. Yeah. And Mitch leans forward and tucks the picture into his jacket and just sort of starts to try to scoop.
There's not much to him.
Yeah. Ignoring the clattering noise and the dust, he just sort of collects it together. And holding it in one hand, he on three legs basically moves out of this thing or attempts to. The coke is still on the ground.
You have him and you're clear from beneath the Teletran too. The county of Garrett surrounds you.
Check around the garage, see if maybe there's a shovel or some sort of
Some pickaxes or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Schematics.
Plenty of tools. Plenty of tools.
Well, then he's armed and ready for wherever they decide.
Everybody, please go down to the bottom of your Spotify playlist. Cue up track number 12 by The Rescues. You're walking as everybody forms a makeshift funeral procession. And at the head is Mitch carrying the remains of Pat Mitchell. What do you do?
I feel like this is Mitch's moment, but
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Good.
I think as Mitch finds a spot, I think, George is there too. He'll have gotten a shovel or a mattock or whatever to help. We probably brought a couple extras in case the rest of the crew wants to.
Shannon is actually off on her own, gathering sticks, relatively flat sticks. And she is beginning to carve names into them.
Greg, are the woods still there?
They are.
Mitch walks into the woods, and he is It's basically a straight line from the from Teletran 2, past some downed robots as he walks into the woods to roughly the spot where Van Halen's tree was. And he sort of like drops to a knee, places it down, and then turns back and I think actually realizes that everyone followed him. Um, and just sort of opens and closes his mouth a few times, and just reaches out for whoever's behind him to hand him that shovel. And he just starts to dig.
Who's helping?
Jerry
Rob's
will be
helping.
first up there, I think. Exhausted, but
George as well.
Yeah, Rob's gonna throw a shovel in the dirt.
I'm giving you this one for free. During the shoveling process, in silence as you all dig the grave of a parent, Rob bumps into George, and 6 turns to 7. The grave is dug.
Jen's placed the names that she's carved on their own kind of stick crosses and put them all down. And it's all the names of the people that they've seen be lost pretty much since they started traveling. Dutch, me, all of them.
They're all there. Do you say anything when you lay him to rest?
Not like a eulogy. Mitch puts him in there, and he takes the photo back out of his pocket, and sort of tucks it into wherever he can. And very quietly, he just says, "I'm sorry."
And with the apology, he's laid to rest. Three days pass. What do you all do in the town of Garrett? All your conditions are healed. You have been together. Your wounds remain present, but no longer hindering your ability to do what it is heroes do. If you visit the grave of so many in representation, if not fact, one single solitary golden leaf rests upon the freshly piled dirt, the last remnant of Van Halen's tree. You're all able to sleep and eat. You may have a conversation if you wish, something that you wanted to share, information you wanted to withhold. But on the third day, Arkaville would seek out Mitch. Where would he find him?
During that 3 days, Mitch is very much compartmentalizing. He's very quiet, and he is going over every inch of Teletran 2. And like reading all of the notes, rearranging the things in the room several times. And he is probably the first one awake and the last one to go to sleep. And he likely only eats a few times, as he has gone into complete like autopilot, essentially. So that is probably where Arkaville finds him, one of the compartments of Teletran. Actually, probably in the center compartment, there's a hole that leads to the driver's seat where a bunch of like the wires come out of. He's in the driver's seat trying to figure out the, I don't know, upgraded system computer that's in there.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a. Why don't you roll me a program as you try to figure all this out? But do so with +2 dice, as this seems familiar.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah,
Also, you would all know that about 8 hours after you arrived, the lights inside Teletran 2 came on, as Mitch was able to figure out where the batteries were for the power of the place.
you said a program with a +2?
Please.
Two successes on a program.
You figure it out. You figure out how to power and cycle through the power, how to refresh the water, how to collect. You realize that this bunker makes a lot of sense, as much as you might not care to admit it. It's the way that you would have set it up. You also know that the slide that is an nearly exact representation of the one in Arkaville's basement has power. And Arkaville would poke his head into the compartment. Mitch, am I interrupting anything?
No, Doc, you're good. What's up?
I figured out where we are. And he's been up almost as much as you.
Yeah, we're in Garrett.
And yes, we're in your Garrett, but this is different. It's a temporal portrait of your Garrett. It's a second that should have disappeared to become the next second, but it didn't. It just stayed here.
It's the one where the loop exploded.
No, I don't think so. I think that the destruction is just that things get old very fast here, and that's why there's dust. And I don't know about the vines. I don't understand those quite yet, but the reason why everything looks kind of run down and collapsed is because it's probably a couple hundred years old or older than what you think. I don't know why this place hasn't collapsed, but I think that it's I was in my youth, I was a big fan of time. I believe that with the right application of energy, you could travel through time. It doesn't help us, but you could fix things and make right things wrong if you wanted to be bad, and wrong things right. I even theorized that with a set of variables, you could speed up time in a place or slow time down in one particular place. I thought that if I could make it work, that I could let farmers grow their crops twice and 3 and 4 times as fast, and we could get rid of world hunger. And if we slowed it down in a spot, somebody that might have cancer or terminal disease, we could slow it down until they'd have treatment, or keep them alive longer. But I couldn't get it to work. I think that this is a second that lasted longer than it should. This isn't, it's your Garrett, but it's an old second. Does that make sense?
Wait, do you mean like a second? Like a second in time?
Yeah, and it's just gotten old. That's why everything's gotten old. It's not supposed to still be here, but it is.
How would you isolate a second in time?
Take a lot of power. I don't know, maybe the loop. Probably the loop.
How would you get to it? Why?
I don't know why. But it's been here for a while at least, and I don't know. I think we need to figure out how to take the next step and get from this second to wherever your time is and catch up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Kind of.
Okay, good.
I actually have an idea. Wait,
good.
Did you think of any way to find out when this second was?
I couldn't. There's everything that would have been like a clocks all seem to be busted, and they can't find any dates, and newspapers have all kind of deteriorated. I looked around and even looked at some of the notes on the whiteboard, but nothing ever mentions anything other than just generalized time, the passage of seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years. I don't know when that started. I have two variables and I can't identify any of them.
Wait. And he starts mumbling again. And he's clicking and typing things on the Teletran terminal. It runs, so it must keep track of something. He's going to look in the Teletran terminal to see if he can suss out when we are.
Seems like you're sometime at the beginning of 1987. That's the date that you find. You can't find a month or a day or there's an atomic clock inside here, but it doesn't seem to go back. You just get 4 digits, 1987.
He just shouts like through Arkaville, I assume, who's still like head in the door. He just yells, "Butts! Shithead! Get in here!"
Arkaville turns down his hearing aid as you turn to yell and then turns it back up whenever you're done. You get that little.
Shannon slowly joins them. This whole time, she has not really been talking to anybody. Maybe Jerry in passing, but that's basically it.
Butts.
Butts would get there pretty quick if it sounded panicked or at least urgent.
Guys,
holding strong at 7, by the way, George. For the past
I was about to ask what was the battery. Okay.
It's 1987.
What do you mean?
This is 1987. Right now. It's a 1987 that doesn't end. This is Dr. Arkaville figured it out. This is 1 second in 1987.
Like frozen in time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you picked one chocolate chip off the cookie.
So it sounds like somebody did it on purpose to
Yeah,
achieve whatever
you
goal they
could-
had.
I don't think you
maybe
could do
to
this
kill
accidentally.
everybody.
But
I mean,
why?
it's great place to hide.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, hiding in time. But why now? Why 1987? Why here?
Well, what do we do in 1987, right? This kind of revolves around us, or at least you.
We were in school. We're in this, I don't know when, but we're sometime in the beginning. We're before we met.
How do we know that?
Because we're sometime in the beginning of 1987, and we met in the summer.
To be fair, Rob and Jerry and Ben and
Yes,
Mitch were all friends, but Shannon and George
Shannon
have
and
still
Butts,
been.
who are right here. We're not.
Okay, so
and
go with that.
If what I think happened, I don't know who made this, but I think my dad got stuck here, or Lord here, or something. My dad's body was only wearing half a jumpsuit, and your dad said we didn't bring my dad back. We brought Evil Mitch back, and Evil Mitch was only wearing a half a jumpsuit, and it's a dive suit. So either my dad got here first and couldn't get out, or I don't know, but for some reason I don't think Bad Mitch could dive from here.
What if you can't dive from here?
Then we're one step closer to us being the same version.
Well, don't we know that you can? Because we've seen He Who Walks elsewhere.
Yeah,
But what if he only could do that because we brought him out? Or
we rescued him from here.
I mean, there's a
Double the
frame.
power.
Maybe we do what we did with
the slide can only pull things in. So
he pulled
my dad.
Yeah. And then somehow used whatever information or I don't know, technology to utilize that information to figure out how to get out or work on whatever. I mean, the robot schematic is right there. That's the thing that tried to kill us.
I saw it.
So
I told you.
I don't think your dad came up with the robot.
No, I said it. I said it when I saw the writing. I knew it was mine.
So then what would you do in the future? Why would you do what you did?
He like sticks an arm out like past everybody and points to that corner of the board. I would wait for me to get me out of here.
Right. And then to do what?
I don't know. I didn't turn evil yet.
Okay, but what would cause you, what do you think about you and everything that you've gone through? What would make you do something that you would never think possible?
I don't know, man. My dad's dead. I don't even know where my mom is. We've been missing for I don't know, time.
Your family's gone. You don't think that's enough of a motivator for you to do the unspeakable things that you have to do to bring them back?
I mean,
because I know that I struggle with that every single time I'm faced with another version of me trying to kill you, apparently.
Honestly? No.
Really?
I'm the one who told Ben he couldn't save his mom.
It's different when it's your own family.
I guess.
If I told you right now that you could save your dad, would you do it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't kill a bunch of people to do it.
What if you didn't realize that that was the consequence?
I mean, that guy seems like he's pretty okay with killing people.
You get used to it, I guess. I don't know.
I don't want to.
I'm just trying to put you in another version of your shoes.
I don't want to be in that version. He sucks. He killed my dad. Why would I kill my dad?
I don't know.
So there, that answers your question. So the ability to save my dad is not what turns me evil, because evil me killed my dad to get free.
Or he just left him behind.
That still doesn't save my dad.
Doesn't kill him either.
But again, then the ability to save my dad doesn't make me evil, because he died either way.
Okay, whatever.
So it's got to be something else.
I think that Dr. Arkaville says from his little position, you can't, there's paradox at play here, because there's already a change. Look around. Your dad, or the version of you that is not good, was missing something.
What was he missing?
He looks at Shannon, and he looks at George.
He didn't have us.
Didn't have anybody else.
You can all tell that that's the first time it's dawned on Mitch. That not that there's other people, but that there's other people. And he just sort of opens his mouth and closes it. I think I have an idea.
I'll help.
You're actually a big part of it.
One more adventure.
Rob,
what are you doing right now?
Probably.
Where would Rob be?
Oh, I couldn't hear. I heard. Tell me what I'm doing right now. So sorry. Probably hanging out in the hub.
Would Rob at any point visit the grave? Would Rob venture out of the hub? And if so, for what reason? Over the course of the 3 days prior?
He would probably. So is this like a full blown town of Garrett? Anything goes. Everything's it's okay.
Seems 100%. Yep.
So he's gonna go check out the paperback exchange. He's pretty much done it in every place that we've been to. He just wants to kind of see if the Shadow Realm has a Miss Maggie.
It has a paperback exchange. It seems weathered. It seems, though you've never seen it, a couple 100 years old. It certainly looks like it. It does say just barely visible on the chain. You can make out the open sign.
Well, Rob's gonna go in for sure. Hello?
Someone there?
Rob's heart is immediately gonna fall into his stomach. Maggie?
Rob?
And slow motion running to hug her scene. And he's gonna obviously she knew his name, so yeah, he's gonna go up to her. And
you hear the voice coming from like what would be that beaded curtain area in the back, but there's only a few beads left as you kind of break through. And as you break through, you realize you are standing amidst the stacks of the paperback exchange. Everybody go to your Spotify playlist, please. Turn on track number 2, Take On Me. Miss Maggie isn't there. It would be you, wouldn't it? All this time. And I was rewarded. What would Rob roll here to keep from getting in condition?
Empathize. He would confront this thing. He's gonna look it in the face and tell this so few words. Fuck you. Of course it's me. One success.
You can see him. He looks thin and burned. Parts of him are charred and weakened. One arm is useless. You can see it. The tattered clown costume is burnt and dusty. One side of the face is burned and sagging. You're not going to be able to save her.
Rob's gonna get in, like, he's gonna walk up to him, get real close. Watch me. And then he's gonna push him.
He clatters to the ground, weighs nothing. It's the same thing as pushing over a hamper full of dirty laundry. Only it makes a clattery sound as if, someone has dropped spoons onto the ground. You hear it almost metallically clink, clink, clink. So he hits the ground and kind of slides to where Miss Maggie's desk would be. The head is cocked at an odd angle. Brave now, are you? Do it. Don't leave me here or finish me.
You don't deserve that. You have to live with the burden of everything that you've done and who you've done it to. And you get to sit here for the rest of eternity and have those thoughts. Why would I spare you the punishment in which you so rightly found yourself?
There's no one here to play with.
This is your bed. You're gonna sleep in it. And he's gonna flip him off as he walks back outwards.
Almost like the breath of a red balloon passing by your ear. You hear his voice. Sometimes you have to go away to go ahead. And the door to the paperback exchange closes.
And when Rob turns around and finally has his back on the paperback exchange and starts kind of walking away, the look on his face goes from, the most assured person, I've dealt with my problems before. This is nothing to, oh my God, I can't believe I just, holy shit. And he's going to be walking away going, punch in the air, like, oh wow, I really did those things. Ooh. And from there, I guess within the time also in those 3 days, he's also at some point going to check out his house. Not go in, he's just going to walk past it.
It's there. Do you look in?
Nope. He's going to stand outside and kind of look at it for a minute, but he's not going to actually go up to the windows and look inside or anything like that.
Then roll me an investigate.
One success.
This gloom and light catches the picture window in the front just right. You see two figures sitting on the couch.
This is chronologically, this is something that's going to have happened after the paperback exchange. So Rob's still not ready to confront that demon yet. So he's not gonna approach it. He's gonna leave.
Then your house is behind you. Jerry, is there anything you do during this time?
I think basically 3 days has been Jerry being a broken record. Like, we got to save Ben, and being told we can't jump from here, and we got to save Ben, we can't jump from here. But he's just making the most of the stash of food and ability to nap, because it's been a while.
Who did you tell this to? Just the group, or did you include Arkaville in this?
Yeah, probably anyone who would listen. Jerry's kind of one-track mind at this point.
Then before he would go to Mitch, Arkaville would go to you. If we can get to someplace with more power, I think I can use the slide to find your friend.
Like, Teletran to a place with more power?
I don't know. I need the slide somewhere with more power. It won't work with the batteries. There's only one real place to go from here, and that's to catch up. But if I can get clear, I might be able to. If he means that much to you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just know him as a psychopath.
That's not him. And we gotta tell the guys. They'll figure this out.
Okay. Mitch, what's your plan?
Once everyone's back, he says, "Okay, I think I got it. I think I know how to get somewhere. I don't know where we'd go, but I think we can get Ben, and I think we can get out of here. Doc, can you make the slide portable? Can we just take that off the wall? Does it have to be?"
It's just a frame. It collapses on itself.
Okay.
It take about a half hour to take down and half hour, 45 minutes to put back up.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. I need you to just rest up your brain. I think if we take just, I don't know, everything we can find from here, and we go to Grayskull. If this is 1987 and we went through the portal in 1988, then they had to start building it. And making a portal means they must have massive amounts of power, plus it's the loop, which is like, I don't know, like a big science, like super collider. They have to generate enough power. If they can generate enough power to power the portal to send 5 of us through, we can use it to activate the slide, and then we can use it to get the hell out of here.
And Arkaville's shaking his head the entire time you're saying this. And if this is a second, then the present, your present, if it's still there, it's still sort of here. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Or
No.
So either, okay, so either we're gonna jump somewhere else, or we come out the other side of the second, which would probably be worse.
It'll work.
Either way, we're out of the second.
It'll work.
Guys, I think this will actually work.
Well, we got
Do it.
nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, given everything I know, yeah.
What am I gonna ask to see his math?
You ever passed math?
Your math?
No, I mean like in school. Did you pass it?
That's not what we're here to talk about.
I have one more request, and I need help doing it. Once we get everything we need out of here, can we go to town and just like raid the liquor store and light this place on fire? If I'm Bad Mitch and I become Bad Mitch in the future and then I get trapped here somehow, having all of this as a head start.
I mean, what's a little bit of arson given what we've been through? I'm down.
Yeah, I think it'll brighten the place up.
Do you guys remember when I was the delinquent?
I blame Shannon.
She's been a horrible influence.
Worst.
She did
Sure, just
kind
you're
of
welcome
set
for
the
keeping
bar
you
high.
guys alive. That's fine.
Well, except me.
Even you.
He like rubs
Don't forget
this-
about your robot.
He rubs the scar on his ribs.
So you just want to burn down Teletran 2.
Basically, Greg.
You want to destroy the bunker.
Yep.
Easy enough. You can hollow it. Obviously, you can't burn the metal and things that's
Yeah.
made out of. but you
Essentially,
can-
like, we're gonna scavenge everything that Mitch thinks we might need at the loop, which is whatever the fuck's around, and the frame, and then just Molotov cocktail each compartment.
Yeah. Also, if the batteries are lithium ion, there's a bombs waiting to happen. So
You know.
Dr. Arkaville surprisingly knows a way to make that work.
It's not surprising at all, Greg.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
not at all.
I don't know who
Everybody,
you're
we're
trying
gonna
to
do a
fool.
little bit of we're gonna do a little bit of a montage here as the gang begins to pull out the necessary equipment and load up Teletran 2 for a one-way ticket to oblivion. And the only way to montage here in the 80s that never was is please go to your Spotify playlist, turn on track number 3, Break On Through by the Doors. You have everything out? and Teletran 2 is burning. Any opening to the air has flames licking out of it. There are internal pops that actually move the cube of grav trucks, making it list and lean, but always kind of keeping it afloat because the magnets that are in place can't be destroyed. They're kind of affixed to it, but it moves and leans and spins out of the position that you know. The green on the outside becomes blackened and stained and pitted by the forces at work as all of you watch your Sancta Sanctorum go the way of the dinosaur. You are unimpeded on your trek to Grayskull, and within a half day, stand in the very spot that you left Garrett Prime.
Okay, I think if we go to the basement and we go to where the cages were, they'll at least have to have started something. So we'll have maybe we'll have to finish the portal, or maybe we can use the slide to help with that, or something. But they have to have power.
Are you all going down there?
Do it.
Yeah.
Shannon's the last to follow everybody.
So we follow Shannon then. And as we get down, kind of looking over Shannon's shoulder, we see the others in front, the bent form of Arkaville and the younger boys, and there is a purple glow. And as soon as you round a corner, floating freeform without any type of frame is a whirling circle of purple in the exact spot of the one that you left through. As we continue to follow Shannon, you would look down and see that there is a cell on the floor. It is empty. This should work. It's already on.
That seems highly suspicious. Just saying. Should we get Ben first? Can you make the slide to pull him through that first?
When we get on the other side, I shouldn't have the same constraints. Time should start working again. My equations will work. I don't know how he did it. And he doesn't look at Mitch, but you can tell that he almost flicks his head. I don't know how he got it to work here. Maybe he had power that used up. I don't know. But once we get to a real place, I can get your friend.
Okay.
Mitch is like his hands are on the back of his head and he is walking in circles around the portal and like mumbling. And when he like finally gets around to the circle where everyone else is on the other side, he turns around and says, What the hell is so special about our Garrett? He had this. He made it work. This is the same one. It's unstable, but this is the same one that we used. So he could already get out. If he could already get out, but he was still waiting for us, that means he was waiting for us to take him home. What's so special about our Garrett? Why did he want to wait so long, or I don't know how long this second has been, but why would he want to wait so long to get to our Garrett when he could go anywhere?
Maybe he couldn't get to our Garrett.
Why? Why is our Garrett the only one? I've been trying to get back to it for months. Why is our Garrett so special? Why would I kill my dad to get back to Garrett? Why? What's special about our Garrett?
You keep asking the same question that we don't have an answer to.
It's just a shitty little town.
Maybe the loop is different there.
Yeah.
He had
Maybe
every
it's something else
dimensions
altogether.
loop.
Maybe you can ask somebody when we get back.
Yeah, just be
It's
like,
a
hey,
joke.
future me. Sup,
Or
sorry,
that.
dead
Yeah,
dad. You
sure.
want to tell me why you're a psycho? I don't think that's going to work.
I mean, I guess you could stay here and wait for the cycle to repeat itself or something.
No, I can't because
No?
I'm here, and then I get stuck here, and then it's me.
There you go.
It doesn't help anyone.
You might eventually find out your answers,
Yeah, then I become a
Eventually.
crazy person. I try to blow up the multiverse or something.
but at least you'll have answers.
That doesn't help anything, Shannon. God. Let's go.
Exactly. Answers never solve anything. Let's go.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm glad you appreciated my humor.
Well done. Yeah, Mitch just throws his hands up in the air and walks over to Arkaville to start helping set up the slide.
If we put it just in front, we can commingle. I think it'll work.
Yeah.
Just missing one thing.
What?
And he looks at you, Mitch.
What do I have to do?
We got to get you all home.
Well, we gotta get Ben.
We will when we get on the other side. I'll get him. I promise.
Can't we slide him in?
When we get to the other side.
Are you not listening to anything I said? No, I'm sorry. Don't answer that. I already know the answer. It's no.
Arkaville puts his hand on Mitch's shoulder, and if she'll allow it, he reaches over to put his hand on Shannon's shoulder.
She doesn't, she's not bothered by it.
You're both right. It's time to go.
Yeah. Yep, sure is. Any other stupid questions, Mitch?
Yeah, you see Mitch is like scrutinizing Dr. Arkaville, and he kind of like leans back and slides his hand off of him. Why can't we get Ben first?
Because I don't have the power here.
But you have the power to make us go forward?
I have the power to catch you all up, to help.
The last guy that I found that really wanted to get out of here turned out to be a psychopath. I'm just trying to make sure
either we make it
not...
across or we die. Really, at this point, doesn't matter.
I'm trying not to make the same mistake again.
Yeah, you're being paranoid because you made a mistake, you screwed up, and you got your father killed. I get it. I do. But we can't let you evaluate every 5 seconds something, whether or not it's worth the risk. We have to stop following you behind every tiny little thing.
I feel like getting my dad killed and also possibly ending the multiverse is a pretty good reason to be paranoid. I feel like it makes all other...
So you're just questioning everything, which means you do nothing.
I've done so much!
Mitch, we can't paralyze ourselves. What else can we do? Sometimes you just gotta walk forward. Not knowing where that step's gonna take you, right?
I guess. So what kind of got us into this mess?
I was just about to say that.
If you're concerned about Arkaville, I will allow anybody to roll and empathize. Or I'll allow all of you to roll and empathize because you'd had 3 days with him.
3 successes.
Rob has 3 successes.
Mitch has 2 successes, and that's his dump stat.
Shannon doesn't need any rolls because she trusts Arkaville.
George is a robot. He can't.
You can't tell.
Then with the rolls, Mitch and Rob come to realize what Shannon has already believed. Arkaville's not lying. He has no ulterior motive other than to help. No matter what your Arkaville is in Garrett Prime, this one is a different creature.
I hate to say it, but we brought him here. So like we're not taking him out of here, we're taking him with us.
He'll be fine. He's like 80 something. If he goes rogue,
82.
Yeah, I mean, you think you can't stop an 82-year-old from taking over the world?
He's 82 in our world, and we didn't stop him.
With all due respect, sir.
I mean, well, just starting at 82, you know.
Okay,
I'm a late
I
bloomer.
think his age
Okay.
matters,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you.
Let's do this. Doc, I'm sorry that I got suspicious. And also, if you turn out to be a bad guy, I'm going to be super bummed about it.
Me too.
Okay. Let's go.
Roll Tinker for me, Mitch, as everyone's ears pop.
Oh my god, give him this dice.
Oh
Is there
yeah.
any
Oh
more
yeah.
dice?
Frags, you wanna hand some
Please.
dice out for this?
Please.
Two more dice. Who wants the dice? Who wants
Mitch,
dice?
Mitch, who's rolling
Mitch.
Tinker to
Yeah.
dive us to the
So
future.
we don't die.
Yeah. Take my dice.
So one success there, and then hold on. One success there, Greg.
All right, everybody. So as the swirl of the already present portal mixes with the kind of light of the slide, mixes with the dive ability of one Casey Mitch Mitchell, you all feel yourselves not turn into water like when you normally dive. This is as if you are, initially it's violent, like you mistook a flip on the trampoline and went face down into the mat. That hard press that doesn't hurt or break, but bends a bit. And then it's as if you're trying to push yourselves through a huge kind of stretch of plastic wrap, saran wrap, as your face kind of smears into it. And then it pulls, becoming like a membrane, almost like wading or diving through jello. And then each of you see Garrett. You see your Garrett Prime. And for a moment, each of you see something that's occurring or will occur in Garrett. Jerry, you see your father, Carl. He is screaming in a room. His fists are bloody. The room is destroyed around him. You can't tell where this is. That might be your childhood home. You can't tell. There's so much destruction. Lightning dances over him, burning the floor, burning the remnants of the furniture. And he's on his knees, and you hear him praying, God, please help me fight or help me die. Don't let me betray my boy. George, you see your father, Eugene, between the bars of a cell. A large, massive, 3-story tall robotic figure leans down and peers into the cell. Your service is no longer required, Dr. Butts. I thank you for your willingness to host me for a time, but I feel this form suits me much better, don't you? Take comfort, Doctor. Yours is a grand destiny. Soon you'll be one of the very last of your species. Mitch, you are looking at yourself. He who stands or he who walks between the rows. He is overlooking a farm that you don't recognize, but it's from a distance as to be half, maybe a mile. You hear yourself in an older voice whisper, it's time. Years of planning, but I'm ready to finish this shit once and for all. Rob, You see Maggie. She too is imprisoned in some type of cell. Hers, though, has an open window with just bars reaching out into the air. She looks so thin and so much older. Her face, perhaps for the very first time, holds no smile and is crushed with utter sorrow. And you hear her whisper, "I'm sorry. I failed. I failed you all." Shannon. Sean Locke, his face traced with the white lines of recent scars, the history of a year lived under the thumb of torture. Yet he still, even in the face of danger, glares at his nemesis. Around him, tied to similar chairs, are Jay Thrice and Herb Sarge Seville. Your father looks up. "She'll stop you." Dr. Arkaville, looking only 50, almost the same age as your father, leans into his face and returns the smile. "Who? Your daughter? She's likely dead, old boy." Your father shakes his head. "Don't know her. This hill is hers, and she's coming to take it back." Arkaville says, "Sure she is, old boy. Sure she is." He stands up. "Any last words, Sean? Oh, hell. Any last words from any of you?" Sean Flint Locke, Herb Sarge Seville, and Lady J Thrice all look back at Arkaville from where they are tied up in their chairs, and as one they growl, "Yo, Joe." Everybody, please go to the bottom of your playlist and turn on "It's the End of the World as You Know It" by The Rescues. Snow whips past you. You are not in Castle Grayskull. You are at a fully healthy and unblemished, except for green paint, Teletran 2. Around you, you hear the sounds of battle. Night has just fallen here in Mountain, Maryland, and the town of Garrett is under siege. Smoke rolls from beneath. Strange sounds and cries float with the smoke from Garrett, speaking sinister tongues and breathing the songs of terror. Something massive blots out the stars. Fires are raging out of control in the periphery to the north. An old pickup truck is parked near Teletran 2. Its bumper sticker reads, "Proud Maryland Military Academy for Boys Parent." Smoke rolls from beneath the hood, and what look like bullet holes have riddled the front of the vehicle. Van Halen pulls a wounded but breathing adult from behind the wheel. A tall man in his late 40s, maybe early 50s, face claim Kevin Costner. In the back of the truck are 4 teenagers, all sleeping soundly. She turns to look at you. "Oh, thank God. Please help me. I have to get them to the mall. Only they can bring help." And my friends, that is where we end this session of Atari Twilight. Please join us next week for Atari Twilight Rollout, Episode 9, Honey, I Killed the Kids.
Well, shit. Friends, this was episode 8. We have but a few left. The final episode for this series will be on episode 12, which will conclude at the end of this month. So if you have not caught up yet, or you have not told every single one of your friends and relatives to go back and watch this show, you have plenty of time to do so. But we're going to get out of here. We're going to do our after show and discuss what the hell happened on this episode, because it was a lot. So thank you all for being here. Let's go around, do our introductions so that we can do this after show, which you guys can get over on Patreon. Link for that down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us, and chat about this show and all the other ones. But for now, we'll start at the bottom of my screen over here. We'll start with Frags. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
Hey, what's going on, Frags or Kindle or whatever? Not up to much. You can hit me up on Discord or Twitter, KWFrags. But yeah, or else just catch me here.
Hell yeah. Bitters, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I'm Mr. Bitters, and I don't do anything. You can just come back here next week, and we'll have some fun.
Great. Meta, same questions.
Same answers.
Perfect. And last, not even last, Mike, who are you?
Hi, I'm Mike. I don't do anything on the internet, so I have a similar answer to everybody else. But yeah, find us in the Discord, really.
Perfect. And last but not least, Greg, who are you? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
In my personal opinion, this is the healthiest cast ever because of their lack of social media, which is just lovely. My friends, I'm not on it either, but it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but you can find me over on the unMadeGaming Discord server. Tag me, talk about nerdy stuff, 80s stuff, Atari Twilight or anything. Yeah, find me over there. But other than that, I can find me on Academic Foxhole on Friday night for a show over there. So you can jump around, but come back next week.
Hell freaking yeah. With that, we're going to get out of here, guys. Tune in next week for more of this stuff. So from all of us to you, bye-bye.